Welcome back to the 2025 James T. Mac McCarthy Southeast Regional Lifeguard Championships. We want to thank and we're marshaling now for the Run Swim Run.
Yeah, this should be an exciting race. It's extremely competitive. It gets really tight around the turns. And boy, we've got some really exciting drone footage that we're going to be following. If you're following us online, spread the word and let folks know. And later on in the evening, if you weren't able to stick around and watch it, we'll have recap shows both at 12 and 4. And it'll be available on YouTube and a lot of your other social media hotspots. But they're marshaling right now, giving instructions to all the competitors. We're going to see how big of a group we got. They're probably going to go with age groups, Jim, first.
They'll go with open first.
Okay.
They'll go with open first. Right now, they're determining how many heats they're going to be. So they have everybody lined up on the beach. They have a line of women, followed by a line of men. They're going to have everybody from each team stand shoulder to shoulder, so people from the same team won't be in the same heat together. And if you want to know who the favorites are, like I said earlier, just go to the swim results from yesterday. Usually the people that come in the top 10 in the swim will also be the people here that come in top 10 in the Run Swim Run.
So yesterday's swimmer and your suspicions came true that Destin does have an Australian blue chipper in the crowd, and he was the overall winner in the men's open yesterday. And then, of course, we're looking for your Fort Lauderdale all-star in the women's.
Yes, Casey Francis would definitely be considered a favorite in this event. She's placed top 3 at the national level multiple times in this event. You've seen her physique and her stature with her long legs, long arms. She's perfectly suited to win this event. Although we also have April O'Gorman as well.
Right. I didn't see her in the open swim yesterday. I think she may have gone to age group. I don't know if she's 30 or not, but she was mysteriously absent from the open swim, probably saving herself for other events and in the age group.
And last year we had Lauren Nugent win this from Destin. I have not heard her name so far today, so I'm not sure if she's working Destin this year. We'll have to check on that as we progress into this event.
And that's why we press the issue about recruiting, Jim. You know, we see these absent people that were stars of yesterday, and you wonder where they go. Well, they've ran through their college education or whatever. They get other job opportunities throughout the country, and sometimes they just have to move on. They don't have time to commit.
Most of the time they don't want to move on. There's a lot of societal pressure there to make more money, to get a real job, as they say, but we both know that it doesn't get any more real than being an ocean lifeguard.
Parental pressure.
Definitely parental pressure.
You pay for college education, they go, you're going to go work where? But I'll tell you, you know, when it's true to your heart and your true calling is the beach and helping others and the camaraderie that comes with it and the physical fitness that comes with it, I mean, it was a no-brainer.
So I've just been informed that last year's champion from Destin, Jack Evelet, is here, and we're expecting him to be one of the favorites. Of course, you get better the more times you do this, and if you come in here as last year's champion with these perfect conditions today, you would expect to be in the top 3, if not the favorite going into this event.
Yeah, glassy conditions today. You know, yesterday afternoon, we expect the same again today with the southeast wind. There'll be a little added chop on the surface of the water after noon or 1 o'clock today, but right now it's more or less pool conditions. It's perfect.
So I touched on it earlier. There is a lot of strategy in this event, like all the events, and you have some people on the beach right now getting ready to do this event. They're looking at the surf conditions. A couple people are heading down into the water to check the water depth, to determine how far out they're going to do that high knee run and where they're going to start their porpoising or their dolphin diving. You also have some mental games going on with the competitors, deciding how fast am I going to take this run out? Am I going to sprint this and get in the water early and try to hold people off on the swim, or I'm going to save my energy on the run and lengthen it out on the swim and make all of my inroads on the swim. And of course, like you said, Jack, the second run is whatever you have left.
Right. Now, the topography of the ocean beach here is very gradual. It's not as gradual, let's say, as Sarasota County down in Siesta Key. It's a long, long porpoise dive process. Then again, you go down to Fort Lauderdale, Jim, and it's a pretty quick drop-off, is it not?
Yeah, we have a sandbar right off the beach, so you can basically go from a run to a dive. Not a whole lot of porpoising at high tide down there. And that's kind of the home field advantage for the Volusia County guys here, because they train in these conditions year-round. They know exactly what to expect. They know the bottom topography. They know where the sandbars are. And like I said, you know, they train in this every day. This is old hat for these guys.
Yeah, I don't think there's much of an issue with current right now, so that's not going to be an issue. We don't have a lot of wind chop or short current, so it's going to be pretty much a straight shot. But yeah, lining yourself up to that first buoy that you're going to be swimming to is going to be important. And there's a little bit of jockeying, a little bit of elbowing at those turns out in the ocean.
And let's take a moment to thank our officials. We have head official Don May, longtime Palm Beach County lifeguard. Don May did 50 years as an ocean lifeguard,
Wow.
starting off in New Jersey, coming down to South Florida, working in Hollywood Beach. He was the chief of Palm Beach County for a long time, and he finished up his career in Palm Beach County. Anyone that puts 50 years into ocean lifesaving is a hero in my estimation.
Yes. Now, do they still see a lot of transition guards coming from the Jersey Shore and Monmouth County and what have you and relocating to South Florida?
That's regional, right? So in South Florida, we still cherry pick the best lifeguards from New Jersey. A lot of them will head down to Hollywood Beach, but Fort Lauderdale's also had their fair share of New Jersey lifeguards over the years, and Miami Beach as well. So yeah, South Florida, we still have room for those summer Jersey Shore guards that want to come down to South Florida and make lifesaving a career.
Awesome. Now, do they come down in the wintertime and work your season from, like, say, the Jersey Shore and then transition back up, or are they that flexible?
You know, it's a little bit of everything. In the old days, back in the 80s when I started, we would get a lot of Jersey Shore lifeguards, Ocean City, Maryland lifeguards, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware lifeguards would come down because they wanted to work spring break in South Florida.
Okay.
And they would pick beaches like Fort Lauderdale, Daytona Beach, Miami Beach, and then they would like it so much they would just end up staying year-round. Nowadays, we have, you know, sometimes as soon as the summer's over, you know, the summer season up in New Jersey might end in September. They might pile into a van and road trip it down to South Florida and try to get jobs in September.
Which is very possible. I mean, there's always openings, and there's so many beaches down there that have options in the hiring process. They're stacked right up together. I mean, Allendale Beach is pretty close to the Miami Beach Patrol's border, is it not?
Not that close, but we are the southernmost beach patrol in Broward County.
Okay.
So between Miami Beach and Allendale Beach, we have Golden Beach, which has one lifeguard tower with two lifeguards taking turns on that tower.
Okay.
Then we go down to Sunny Isles Beach. Well, they have a very impressive patrol down there, getting bigger every year. And then we go down farther. We have Surfside, and then we get to the north end of Miami Beach, and then we talk about the Dade County. Oh, I forgot Haulover. Right before you get down to Surfside, in between Sunny Isles and Surfside, you have Haulover Beach, which is one of two beaches in Miami-Dade County. They have a second beach down in Crandon Park, which is one of the southernmost beaches in South Florida. And we can't forget that the city of Miami proper has a beach at Virginia Key Beach, which is a very historic beach. Being the first black beach in South Florida, open to African Americans all the way back in the 1940s, which actually had the first African American lifeguards in the country down there in Virginia Key Beach.
Wow.
Very historical beach.
I did not know that. I remember Crandon Park, and I remember Crandon Park Zoo from years ago. And then we got Hollywood, which is a pretty large outfit, correct?
Hollywood is just north of Allendale Beach. In fact, Hollywood Beach has the longest continuous guarded beach in the state of Florida. They guard 4.5 miles of continuous beach with somewhere close to 35 lifeguard towers.
There you go. There's another hiring opportunity.
And then, of course, you go a little bit north of there, and Dania Beach, which is right now the highest paid lifeguarded beach in Florida. with lifeguards enjoying $34 an hour, I'm told.
Wow. So see, now there's the rub in this whole thing as far as the hiring process and jockey and talent back and forth. When you tempt the guards with that kind of a pay, they will definitely consider an outfit like Dania.
The problem is Dania Beach is a small outfit, and they have a high level of a professional lifeguard there, and those positions are pretty much taken up. So you have to wait for somebody to die or retire before you get one of those positions. But yeah, it's nice to be at the beach with the highest pay. And I also heard they're expecting another pay raise, and some of those tower lifeguards might be making money in the $80,000 a year range.
Hey, good for them. Good for them. Of course, cost of living down there is to be considered as well. But nevertheless, good for those guys. They're all pros at what they do, and we're very proud of them. We're really happy to host all of those guys and see them all represented here in Volusia County.
And I would be remiss if I didn't head north from Dania Beach across Port Everglades. And now we're talking about my alma mater. I guarded for 34 years at the famous Fort Lauderdale Beach, previous spring break headquarters from the mid-'80s. And spring break is actually enjoying a resurgence in Fort Lauderdale Beach as other beaches are tiring of it. Fort Lauderdale is now welcoming spring break back, from what I'm told.
Tag, you're it. Yeah, but they're doing it right. They're doing it right. They're picking and choosing, and they're controlling it. And of course Daytona Beach has gone through the same thing, as well as Panama City and Myrtle Beach. It's kind of a hotbed issue right now, and it's hard to manage. And I understand that. And
it's not the same demographic of beachgoer as it was back in the '80s. It's quite, it's not the cheap $19 a night hotel rooms that it was back then. It's and here we go. We have the start of the Run Swim Run, open men's, and like I said, we'll look at the strategy here. It looks like we have
some sprinters.
That could be Marlon from Fort Lauderdale out in front. He placed, I think, third in the open swim yesterday, so he's definitely one of our favorites in this race. Look at where the swimmers enter the water. You can tell that a couple of these guys have already been in the water and they know what kind of currents they're dealing with. And they're trying to compensate for that by not necessarily jumping in right in front of the buoy.
So yeah, there's lane choice there, and some of them are going to just try and get out of traffic so they get some clean water. Some of them will try to draft and follow a leader until they make that first turn and then make their move. But they're just trying to get through the immediate shore pound traffic that they've found while they enter the water all at once, and things should start to shake out a little bit here.
And because of the sprint nature of this event, you're going to see a lot of violence in the water. You're going to see some kicking, some elbows, some clawing, some scratching, and some people get energized by that energy in the water, and some people shut down. So it all depends on what type of person you are, what type of athlete you are, how aggressive you can be in this event, and how many times you've done this. If you've done this year after year after year and you know what to expect, not quite as intimidating as it would be for the first time competitor in this event.
So Jim, in my experience, if somebody grabs my ankle, I kick harder.
Absolutely, that's the strategy. Maybe an MMA sidekick if you have to.
Well, I don't know. I'll keep that under my hat, but I have had my ankle grabbed before, and all of a sudden I find my momentum go to reverse. And after the first time that happened, as soon as it happens now, I try and send a message, try somebody else's ankle, and I just kick harder and harder and try and cause a little bit more turbulence and make it a little bit harder for them to pass.
So let's talk about the course a little bit. Yesterday, we had an exhaustive, extra long course. I think the open swim was somewhere close to 600 meters. Today, as you can see, we're using those two black and white sausage buoys. They've moved those in quite a bit. It looks like they're only about 100 yards out.
Yeah, it's a rectangular box today. It should save us on time, but that's the normal course. They pinch it in a little bit, and now it looks like the crowd is spread out. It's gotten a little broader as far as where they deem as being important to
it looks like we have a Destin swimmer out in front. I'm guessing, and I don't know this to confirm, but I'm guessing it's last year's champion, Jack from Destin.
Now, is he the Australian? I do believe he was.
They do have Australians there, and I'm assuming that he is one of them.
Yeah,
I haven't had confirmation on
Jack
that yet.
Everly is one from the Gold Coast that Destin has brought in as a ringer, and it's a great exchange program.
Ringer? Do you like that word, ringer?
Well, why not? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Hey, good for them for recruiting. I wish everybody could do that.
It's been my experience that if you're a ringer as an athlete, you're probably also a ringer as a lifeguard. These guys come in with expert level lifeguarding skills as well. So you got to get that added bonus, that 2-for-1 of having an excellent competitor as well as having an excellent lifeguard. And it looks like we have a nice slow jog here from our leader. He knows he's clearly won this event. What an amazing swim he had.
And that will not be the case, I guarantee you, once we get deeper into the crowd. Here we go. Now the pace is picking up on the run.
First place, like I said, nice slow jog. And now we have the race for second. Couple people looking over their shoulder to see who's coming up behind them.
There's a tight
Wow,
race.
Look at the race for fourth. Wow, we just had somebody pass somebody else. And here we go. Now this is where the competitors will try to get those extra points.
Here's your lead runner from the first leg.
Right.
Crossing now. So
looks like Marlon from Fort Lauderdale started out in front on the run.
May have exhausted himself.
Maybe took it out too hard on the run,
yeah.
but only he will be able to answer that question. And then we have the people coming in now trying to get those first 16 places for the points. And like I said, there's a lot of people in this event that have never done this event before. And every part of this race will start to add to muscle memory, and they'll start strategizing for the race next year. This is a learning experience for everybody.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty clean race. I mean, I wasn't out on the buoys. You could tell us with the drone footage that we're getting covered that whether there was any traffic jams. A lot of times there gets a pinch point at the first right-hand shoulder and second right-hand shoulder, but it looked pretty clean to me. No hard feelings. Everybody's high-fiving and shaking hands at the finish line.
The women now are heading up to the start line. Let's hand it to the officials. This event is really going off quickly this morning. Really no downtime between the men and women open run swim runners. So the women are already on the start line, getting ready to go, receiving their last minute instructions. And as we surmised, Jack Everly,
Gold Coast, Australia, by way of Destin, Florida.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I mispronounce his name. I think it's
Everlei.
No, I don't think there's an R in that.
No?
Let me take a look just so I don't butcher his name.
Those Australian spellings, they're always a little different. But we're going to see some fast girls coming up here. We're lining up, it looks like about 30 females now for the open women's division.
Jack Everly.
Everly, okay. Everly, no R.
We'll be hearing that name again, I'm sure of it.
Everly, mate. All right, good for him. There was some extensive coverage in our local newspaper last night that I caught online, and they said Gold Coast Australian takes first event in USLA regional lifeguard competition. So he's one and the same. We didn't know that yesterday, but we just were wondering were
I'm guessing they were talking about the open swim.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
And the ladies are off. Same type of strategy here. Are we going to take it out full blast on the run? Are we going to jog it and rely on our swim skills? Let's see how this plays itself out.
I see Fort Lauderdale orange top up there. That's got to be our girl, defending champion.
I think that's
third or fourth.
No,
right now.
Actually, I think Casey Francis is in first.
Oh, okay.
In the aqua bathing suit.
She changed for this.
This is her racing one piece versus the two-piece bathing suit she had on yesterday.
They were bragging about, for identification purposes, those day glow orange tops. I think they're Jolene.
They are Jolene, one of our supporters here.
Right. She's got her booth up here, and they're popular with our professional lifeguard ladies. So yeah, as predicted, it looks like she's got out to the point on the run swim.
And don't think just because we have women competitors that they're going to be friendlier in the water.
No.
There's some super high-level competitive athletes here that also wouldn't be afraid to throw an elbow or a side kick if people get too familiar with them in the water here.
Yeah, they get a little furious out there. Little cat fighting I've seen before on beach flags as well. Beach flags finals, when it comes down to the last 4 or 5 gals, they're taking no prisoners out there, and I assume the same thing is going offshore.
So we have our leaders here going stroke for stroke, side by side. As we talked about yesterday, there's an advantage to drafting off of the swimmer in front of you. At this point, though, this race is so competitive, they're just going stroke for stroke, trying to lead this event and not rely on that advantage for drafting.
Let's see how this first turn goes. And as soon as they do that second turn, the home stretch, you'll start seeing an uptick and a real fight. Oh,
there we go. It looks like we have Casey Francis in first place.
She took an inside move there.
And that's just from racing year in, year out. I believe this is her 5th or 6th year now competing on regional and national level. Every time you do this event, you pick up a new little pointer. You know exactly what you can and can't do with respect to turning on the speed. Now, as they get closer to shore, they'll be looking to gauge the water depth, deciding whether they're going to start their porpoising or their dolphin diving. And then, of course, that high knee run through the waist-deep water that they finish this event up with. And then they hit the dry sand, and then they take off on that sprint with whatever they have left in the tank.
Yeah, rule of thumb here is don't stand until your fingers are dragging or touching the bottom, so you're not trying to find that bottom too soon, and next thing you know, you're in chest-deep water and you can't garner that pressure off the bottom to do a good thrust with the first porpoise dive.
That's a common mistake. You try to porpoise too soon, you reach down for the bottom and it's just a little bit too deep, and then you have to take an extra couple swim strokes, and that'll always slow you down.
So we got a little tightening up here. We got a 3rd place female coming in and a 4th place coming into the picture as well, turning it on.
And here we go. Casey is now doing her porpoising. Here comes the high knee run.
One porpoise and up, the high knee.
Casey isn't known for her foot speed, but she can definitely turn it on if she has to. I've actually seen her do beach flags before. Let's see if she can hold off the 2nd place runner. And it looks like she can. Or maybe I spoke too soon.
Oh, this is going to be close.
This is going to be close.
Oh, she's got a little left. She's got a little left. She's
getting closer.
Up.
And Casey holds off 2nd place. Congratulations, Casey Francis, Fort Lauderdale Ocean Rescue.
She got a little peek at the turn and had a little left.
And here we have 4th place, and I believe Brooke Bennett is coming in now, the Olympic swimmer.
From Clearwater Beach, yeah.
From Clearwater Beach. And now we have the rest of the pack heading in. And again, these are athletes that are competing for points. They may not get the gold, silver, or bronze medals, but every point is very important here for the race for team championship. We'll be giving out trophies tonight for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place team. So even 16th place, you're going to see a race for that 1 point.
Now, at this level of swimmers, and particularly the Brooke Bennetts of the world and Casey Francis, they're doing some pools time still too, are they not?
Especially off season. A lot of the swimmers are members of master swim programs at their local pools, and that's where they get their yardage in on the days where we have the excessive seaweed, the jellyfish, the Portuguese man-o'-war. They can rely on the fact that their local swimming pool won't have any of those things.
Yeah, I noticed how the proximity of the Hall of Fame pool at Fort Lauderdale was to your towers there, and I said, boy, that
for years we had our lifeguard headquarters at the Hall of Fame, which was very advantageous for training in the pool and also recruiting future lifeguards from the swim competitors that would come to the Hall of Fame to compete. And in the future, I believe the new headquarters for Fort Lauderdale Ocean Rescue is headed back to the Hall of Fame pool.
I see.
Although they don't call it the Hall of Fame pool anymore. I think they call it the Fort Lauderdale Aquatics Complex.
Okay. All right. Okay, we'd like to reach out and thank all the people that have supported us. We got Joe Lynn, who's got the female bathing suits here, Beaches Restaurant on ISB, International Speedway. Lawyer dude, Josh Wagner. Say hey to Josh. Cubco's a screen printing go-to people and embroidery people that we use for our shirts. The Fish Tank, located out in the Home Depot shopping center west of the International Speedway. Waterman for all your lifeguard wear. Cito, our local Cito people have been very supportive. A former lifeguard runs a Tropical Seas, Land Shark, Sun and Skincare. They're on site here today. Check out their new lotions. Ocean Deck Beach Bar. Advent Health just added a huge addition to their complex. And the Hard Rock Hotel, the beautiful Hard Rock Hotel with 3 levels of sun decking here. Watchtower for all your lifeguard record-keeping online programs. And I'll tell you, talk about being a lifeguard. If we can't recruit you to getting hired by watching this video, I don't know what will. Our community information department has done a spectacular job in trying to put together some video to entice our locals to come to work for Volusia County Beach Safety and get a few summers under your belt and see if you don't want to consider it for a career. Can't thank them enough. It's really, I'll tell you what, if these kind of videos were out when I was a kid, I would have jumped on it. It wouldn't have taken me as long to decide to make it a career. We'll come back and see you shortly.
My name is Tony Beasley. I became a full-time lifeguard because I enjoy helping people and I love working outdoors.
My name's Marin, and I want to be a lifeguard because my dad used to be one and I like being on the beach.
My name is Ricky, and the reason I chose to be a Volusia County lifeguard is because I like the lifestyle, working out, staying in shape, helping people out. It's a labor of love for me, and that's why I chose to be a lifeguard.
Okay, welcome back, folks. We're going to be moving on to the board relay next. We're getting calling those competitors to their first call as we're going into age groups of the Run, Swim, Run men's division. We got the opens out of the way, I do believe, and now we've got some of the guys that are 30 and over and 40 and over. I see A.J. Miller from Volusia County, Deputy Chief A.J. Miller. He's always in this. He got third yesterday in the open board race, and they're rounding the flags in the first leg of the Run, Swim, Run, and they're now all into the porpoise diving phasing of the swim. Of course, we're going to be staying tuned all day long here. We're going to break for lunch and do a recap on this morning's events and hopefully get some of our winners or at least top performers up here for an interview with Jim and I and see what's on their mind and what they foresee in this afternoon's events. And it's going to culminate tonight at 6:30 at the Ocean Deck, one of our supporters for the finals and the beach flags. Always an exciting event to finishing up, and that's where the team buoy will be given out, and there'll be some celebratory laughs and back slaps. But we have the leaders about midway out on the first leg of the Run, Swim, Run. They'll be doing a right shoulder turn on this rectangular water course. And yes, they're all feathering out, trying to find a clean line to approach the first buoy. And of course, this drone footage has been unbelievable to watch stroke for stroke. I mean, you can see better than we can out there. They're right on top of them. They have 2 or 3 drones out there that can navigate both the run course and the swim course. And it's just this modern technology is really giving us an advantage of coverage. We hope to lure the nationals to Volusia County in the next decade or so. I know Fort Lauderdale, Jim, is going to get nationals in 2 years.
Actually, next year, the 100-year anniversary of Fort Lauderdale Beach Patrol, now Fort Lauderdale Ocean Rescue, will be hosting the 2026 USLA National Lifeguard Championships. They're very excited about the prospect of hosting this event. This will be the 3rd time they hosted it. They hosted it in 2009. And they also hosted the first national lifeguard competition, not a USLA event back then, It was called the East-West Coast National Lifeguard Championship. It was hosted in 1967 on Fort Lauderdale Beach.
Now, have they picked a site yet, a particular location around the Bahia Mar? Or is there a particular location yet? I know you don't work there yet, but where would be the ideal spot for people to start thinking about where they want to stay?
So guessing, as you mentioned, I don't work in Fort Lauderdale anymore, but if I were to guess based on the beach topography, the most likely place would be where they had it in 2009, which is down on the south end of the beach in the picnic area, down by the historic Yankee Clipper Hotel. Because the beach is wider down there.
Right. Is that where they have the concert, the big concert down that way?
That's exactly where they have the Tortuga National Concert there every year. And just the widest part of the beach and would accommodate the most number of competitors.
Okay, so that would be south of Las Olas for those that are familiar with that area. And I tell you, there's been such a resurgence in the buildings and the businesses and the restaurants. I'll tell you, add another day or two and visit some of the adjacent beaches and really explore down there, because I was just down there a couple of months ago, and I'll tell you what, the South Florida area is on fire.
So our competitors are out of the water, heading down towards the finish line. Our leader is in a nice little jog there. He knows he's clearly has this event won. And now we have the race for second, third, fourth, fifth place, etc.
This is where it tightens up. It looks like a Volusia, AJ Miller and a Volusia Troy Knopp are going to place in the top 5.
This is our age group event, I believe.
I do believe, because I know both those guys are well over 30. And that's all I'm going to say.
And I also see Marlon here.
And again, doubling
doing
up.
his second run, swim, run in a row. Doesn't quite have the same bounce in his step as he did on that first round.
He's fading fast, but he's probably still going to get some points. Not in this age group, I guess. We fall off in points, don't we, as far as awarding
each
points?
age group, delineated by 5-year increments, we'll place 5 places in each age group. So the first seniors age group is 30 to 34, then 35 to 39, 40 to 44, etc., all the way up to 75 plus. And 5 people in each age group will receive points.
So he could have double dipped for his team as far as getting points.
And unfortunately for him and many other athletes in this event, they didn't do it all in one heat like they did with the 2K run. So they actually have to do this event multiple times to get those extra points.
Oh, man. What I did notice, though, when I was doing the 2K and the run, swim, run, I thought, okay, I'm moving on to a next age
Jack,
group.
what was your best event when you were a competitor?
2K and run, swim, run, because I was a runner, secondary to swimmer, but I was a runner later on. And but it didn't get easier, because the guys that still hang around and that still compete, they are so focused. They're so focused on nutrition. The ones that are still around are just good.
Yeah, those are the guys that have really dedicated themselves to fitness. They have a day in, day out physical routine. They keep themselves in tip-top shape. And with that kind of dedication comes excellent athleticism and makes them very good athletes all the way through their lifeguarding career. And like I said yesterday, we'll see people out here in these events that are in their 70s.
Yeah, for instance, God bless his soul, Mac McCarthy. It's like, when is this guy going to slow down in this rowboat? And it never really happened.
Yeah, the event namesake, James P. Mac McCarthy, everybody called him Mac. He competed well into his 70s in a variety of events in this Southeast Regional Championship. And we also had Tommy Totar Hogan, who actually competed into his 80s in this event.
Palm Beach County?
Even doing events such as the Ironman, the very grueling American Ironman event.
Crazy. Okay, we're going to be doing the board relay next after we get, I think, women's age group out of the way, folks. And that's going to be an exciting, fast event as well. And I think we got one more age group in women's.
And this will be all the age group women will be running in one heat. So this will be all the women between 30 and up, maybe 60s, 70s. I don't believe we have any women in their 70s here, but I did see some.
We won't speculate on how old these ladies are. Let's leave it at that.
That's not polite,
Jim.
I've been told, to speculate on a woman's age, so I won't do that.
Only their arm number knows.
This is just an open event. Rescue board relay to the north end of the court, please.
All right, so I guess the age group run swim runners were in the open women's heat, and we did not know that. So our age group run swim runners are already gone for the women. They went with the one heat double point scenario that we talked about in the 2K. So now we are marshaling for the paddleboard rescue event, also called the paddle pickup. They're calling competitors down to see how many teams we have, to see how many heats we're going to get to enjoy this morning.
And we'll be right back.